My name is Sheila Sisulu. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of the World Food Programme, responsible for hunger solutions.
And if you'd like to just give a short summary with key messages of your presentation today.
Okay, let me give the framework of that presentation, which is, it's got, I think, 3 pillars. One is that people should be put first in these negotiations, because if they are, then they'll be real, because people are experiencing climate change as we speak. The second one is that women matter, and they matter for their children, the food and nutrition security of their families, and therefore the food and nutrition of the nations. So nutrition and food security matters, and those linkages are critical. Now on people, as I've already said, this climate change, the impact is not happening out there somewhere in the stratosphere. It's affecting, and it's not going to happen. If you go down on the ground where we as the World Food Programme work, you can see already the impact of uncertainty with when to plant, severe weather situations where people don't know how to react to these situations that really shake the very foundation of more than a century of transferred knowledge of how to do agriculture. And within that context, food security is really at risk. Food and nutrition security. We saw with the high prices in 2008, we are experiencing another, possibly second wave of high food prices. Yes, there are complex reasons, but one of the reasons is climate change. There are other reasons, but climate change is one of the reasons, and we need to address that reason that we know. Women matter. And why do I say so in the context of climate change? Because women are the bedrock of food and nutrition security for their families, for their children. And in Africa, they grow the food, they prepare the food, they fetch the water, they collect the wood. So if forests are decimated, if water gets scarce, if the land gets drought, they are immediately affected. And some of their coping mechanisms are in fact almost against themselves, in the sense that they will always prefer to feed their children and family first before themselves. And that compromises their health, and if they are of childbearing age, they will compromise even their unborn children. So women matter in climate change, because if we empower them to adapt and to be resilient and to ensure that the way they farm is sustainable, they will be contributors to limiting the impacts of climate change and continuing the good health of their families. And if each family is healthy and well fed, then the community is healthy and well fed. And those become the building blocks of a nation that is resilient, that is adapting to climate change, that is contributing to limiting the impacts of climate change, sometimes referred to as mitigation, how they grow the food, how they deal with the forests on which they depend, the kinds of even heating that they use to cook the food is going to be important. So women matter in climate change, and without them there is no solution. So any solution that does not include women as agents of change themselves is not going to be a sustainable solution.
And on that very clear point, what's your wish list for outcomes from COP?
Just 3 small things. Put people first. We form alliances, and women matter. And that has to be reflected in the negotiations and in the outcomes of COP17, strengthened in succeeding COP20 in the Rio +20. It must go forward and be strengthened. Those 3, if we see a change in how COP deals with those 3 things and with the alliances, it is those of us who are not in the negotiations. So PAW, paw, which is like a cat, but not a scratchy one, but one that is, very nice. Okay, thanks.